C4 Corvette. This is our Q-Red baby you. Show. Alright. So there she is. There's a C4. Paint job is pretty okay. Far from perfect though. It's got a nice set of tires on it. It's got these old wheels. So leather stripping's not too bad. It's not perfect, but it's decent. This thing's got some crazy cracks in it. Here's the back. It's got a pretty decent sized gash over here. Let's see, it's got some scrapes. It's got a big crack right here. It's gonna need to be fixed. And the tires are pretty decent on it. I did a little bit of interior work on it. Oop, I think I locked it. So I used to have a red interior. I put in this gray and black. Seats are fairly decent. Just some leaves. So there's an interior. Replaced that red carpet with the gray. It's just a plastic panel, soft touch. So dashboard is a little bubbly. This seems okay. Let's see. The back is pretty nice. Carpet's pretty decent. Back speakers work. Front ones are a little weird. Steering wheel. Oh, I don't think I closed it. There we go. And this, of course, is the 6-speed. Kind of a rare car. I don't see too many of the 6-speeds. Seen a whole bunch of the 4+3s and the automatics. So the 6-speeds are kind of harder to find. So got a 7-inch double din in here, and it's got the backup camera. The shifter. In order to go in reverse, you pull up on this thing and you come back down. As soon as you do that, it goes in reverse. A couple of weird things. You can see all the cracks and stuff in here, but none of these roofs really survived all that well. There, we start it up. And by the way, worked pretty well. Got parking lights, all that stuff here, fog lights. Tack doesn't work. It's just floppy all over the place. And the lights that we have is ABS, which I think they came off. I'm gonna double check that. The ride control, it did have the adjustable ride control here. You see sport, performance, touring, but the Bilstein shocks, the ones that are adjustable, they're not operational. There's a gear that's broken, and the other one I think is just shot. So as of right now, I have like the factory Bilstein, the non-FX3 option. They're just regular old shocks. They're still a little stiffer, still kind of nice, but they're not the ones that are supposed to be in this car. Let's see, got the these things are in it. Believe it or not, these are pretty hard to find too. Hard to find in good shape. All these are rotted out, nasty on these cars. Everything works. Windows work. Both windows work. So it's a pretty decent car. It's a pretty good daily driver. Put in these gray seatbelts. Only thing that stayed red in the car. So I was gonna dye them black, but decided not to. A sport feel. This thing's kind of washed out. Tack doesn't work. These gauges work pretty well. Oil pressure's good in this car. It doesn't overheat. It's got a new radiator, got a new water pump, starter, all new gaskets on the motor. It's been redone so it doesn't drip anything, doesn't drip oil, doesn't drip antifreeze. Everything works. Power steering works really well in this car. No AC. He works pretty well. Blower motor works. It's a nice little touch for a 90s car. And everything on here works. These things go up and down, left, right, not broken. All these switches work. Mirrors, I think, work. I just was messing around with the fuses, trying to figure out something else worked. I'm gonna try to go for a ride. I don't know how I'm gonna strap this GoPro. This thing's cool. It picks up on my Bluetooth on my phone pretty well. And you can call people, answer phone calls on it. All kinds of cool stuff. See the headlights. Pretty sweet car. Pretty nice car. It's like a little budget C4. You get the 6-speed. It's pretty much modern. It's got an independent rear suspension, disc brakes all around. It's got 2-piston disc brakes up front, which aren't too crazy, but they're pretty nice. Let's see, tires are fairly new. Steers pretty good. Suspension's okay. Good motor, good transmission, real solid. Been gone through. But it pretty much lights them up in first gear. You're gonna have to pop the clutch. Just kind of let it out real nice and easy and roll on it, and it'll spin the back tires so easy. But it's steady, it's smooth. It's not like it's gonna throw you in a curve. It's very manageable. And chirps second, chirps third. It's got 275s on it. Sort of locker in the back, because I've never seen it spin one tire. It's always just digs in hard with both tires. And brakes real good. It does rattle a little bit in here. It is kind of an older car, especially with a T-top, and but that could be worked out. I still need to put this handle on here. I took this thing apart. I gotta paint this thing black. Painted the one on the other side black already. I gotta paint this one black, and I gotta put that little bezel piece in and all that stuff. Other than that, it's a pretty decent car. It's pretty nice. It runs cool. I mean, it's cold right now, and it obviously hasn't even warmed up all the way. It's got good oil pressure. Super fun to drive. 6-speed. I mean, I think this makes this car. I would have never bought an automatic. They're just kind of stupid, in my opinion. I mean, you get a sports car and an automatic. Maybe if you got like a GTR or something, or like an M3 or M5, I get it. But I think this is like back to the roots style sports car here. You're never going to see anything like this again, I don't think. You're never going to ever see these pop out lights. Never going to be able to get a car with a 6-speed, and if you are, there's very few and far in between, and I'm not sure if a lot of them are going to be performance oriented anymore, like this thing is. It holds G-forces pretty well. It does let the ascent slide out if you're a little too hard on it, but that's kind of a cool feeling. It's very manageable. You can always upgrade this thing. I was gonna lower it a little bit and put some nice wheels on it. I was thinking about some like C6 Z71 replicas for it. I think this thing looked awesome. The 18s and 19s, and lowered a little bit. I think it'll turn a lot of heads. And one thing I forgot to mention is it's got a LT1 exhaust on it. When I originally got it, the exhaust was kind of rusted out. So finding a newer C4, I think it was like a 96, 95 or 96, and I took the exhaust off of it. The headers, or whatever, the exhaust manifolds are still the L98 ones. I'm not sure if they make a difference compared to the LT1s, but the manifolds are original. But the exhaust, everything manifold back, is LT1, and it's still factory. It's actually pretty quiet. You can still have a conversation in the car without too much hassle, and you can hear everything. You can answer phone calls, but it's still got that little bit of rumble to it, which makes you feel like you're in a Corvette, which is kind of cool. Still got all your creature comforts. You got your phone in here, wireless. You got radio, MP3, stream directly from your iPhone or Apple device. You got everything you need. AC, it needs a new valve right where you charge it. I charged it up, the compressor kicked on, but a few seconds later, it all leaked out of that little straighter valve that you attach it to. Where you fill it up at, you can just hear it leaking right out of there. You can put your finger over it, and other than that, you just recharge it and replace that little valve. You'll have AC in here, heat, power locks, power mirrors, power windows. Cool little car, cool little sports car. I'd say it's missing anything, you know, for what you get. I mean, compared to like a 350Z, I mean, it's gonna be a little bit down on power compared to a 350Z, but I feel like it's still got a lot of torque. It still is fun around town. It's still fun to drive. It doesn't give you the illusion of being slow. It rips off the line, it shifts smooth, super fun around town, and you don't even have to get in trouble, you know? You just mash your foot in and it goes real hard in any gear. Like, you can literally, this is first, let it out. Oops, that's my fault. I'm trying to shift my left hand. Second, third gear. This is probably like 30-40 miles an hour. You get on it, rolls out in third gear, not even in the power band, but it's smooth. It goes. It's got a lot of torque. For as far as power goes, it starts to die out. What I heard, about 4,500 RPMs, and it's the way the intake is designed. It doesn't like to rev all that high, but it makes a lot of low end grunt, and it goes real good. But it revs out quick after 4,500. You can feel it starts diving off, but if you're not used to driving it and you just get in it a little bit, you think this thing is a freaking killer. You think it's got like 450 horsepower or something, and then when it hits 4,500, it just dies. It just falls on its face, and you're like, what the hell? So this is still a really fun car, and you can always build this thing to be anything you want. It's got a small block Chevy under the hood, so your options are endless there. You could put a different intake on it. You can rebuild it, get a different cool little touch. This little switch right here turns all the lights on. Replace all the bulbs and everything, and you can pretty much build it to be whatever you want. You can get high compression pistons put in, ring job, redo the heads, and this fuel injection super manageable. There's even a company called Mega Squirt. I think they have like a plug-and-play unit which does everything. It does fuel, and it does ignition, and you can go in there and mess with the tables. Super easy, super user-friendly, and you can have that thing set up. You can do a supercharger on here. I was actually thinking about doing some like custom rear exhaust setup on it, like a twin turbo rear exhaust, just cut out the mufflers. Well, I'd probably do a whole thing back, a whole header back, straight through piping, and then just do rear mount turbos and just route one big charge pipe to the front, a little pump to pump oil to it and everything, and shoot, you could probably make 350, 400 horsepower in this thing, absolutely no problem, and it'll hold it. This transmission, the ZF6, I heard it's actually pretty decent for power. I heard it can hold a lot. It can hold upwards of 400 horsepower without any issues. People are actually saying that it's stronger than the 6, and it's a good car. I feel like it's got a lot of potential. Or you could just drive it like this. It's a good daily driver. It's not perfect. It's got some scratches. It's got some dings, but it's fiberglass, so that's not a very accurate statement. But it's good. It's decent. It's got the newer style. Like if you go to 89 back square, it's got this square box sticking out right here. Everything's square. It's got digital readout, but it's still kind of funky and quirky. This thing I feel like is a little more modern. It's got power seats. The driver's side works really well. There's no issues. The back one doesn't move front or back. There's something wrong with it, but it goes up and down sometimes. There we go. Well, that'll be need a little attention once you get it. It's clean. It runs, drives, stops. Power brakes work. Power steering works. Let's see if I could show you under the hood. I'll just lock myself in here. Turn these lights off. And a little bit. Got the lights over here. So there it is. One thing I did delete is I deleted the air pump. Actually, the air pump's still on there, but all the piping is gone out of there. It doesn't have any of that. It's a very big restriction, I heard, and it just looks ugly. So I took that out. This year doesn't have the math, so you can put a big filter on here if you wanted to. It really doesn't matter. Everything's nice. This brake booster, not booster, master cylinder is actually off of a 96 car. I got it at the junkyard, I cleaned it out. The original was leaking. This one's got a little bit of a different design to it. New battery. See the lights work. Tires are fairly new on it. Got new coolant. New water pump. I don't know, I probably mentioned before. I painted these valve covers like a rough black color. It's kind of cool looking. Yeah, and here it is. The lights, the backup camera is right there. And fuel gauge, or should we fill it up? Pop that. Put the lights back up. Pretty roomy in here. A lot of stuff back here if you wanted to. So got these Bose speakers in here. They work. They're not perfect, but they work pretty well. And this thing's been completely swapped to the gray interior, which is this carpet underneath the seats, carpet on the center console on the sides, the door cards. Let's see what else. I got matching gray, whatchamacallit, mats on both sides that are made for the car. This piece is black. This wholesale panel, black piece. The piece that goes on underneath the where the glove box is on a normal car, that's a piece of gray vinyl. It's got plastic on the back. The red carpet was replaced. Window regulators, the one on the right side is new, the one on the left side works pretty well, it's original. Yeah, everything's nice. The seats are not perfect, but they're pretty decent. And it's just decent car, decent everyday driver. Could be cleaned up a little bit. The back bumper needs a little bit of work, like I said, and this little crack needs to be fixed. But I have all the caps for the wheels, and I redid the door seals. These seals I redid. They're still off of a factory car, but they were way better shape on that car than this one, so I replaced them. They're not bad. And this is another gray piece I had to replace, and gray seat belts, of course, all that. It's a good car, it's a decent car. But yeah, I was gonna actually do this. There's a car, I think the 90, 92, 93 cars did away with this brake light. I was actually going to try to do that. I thought it'd be a little bit of a sleeker look, but I kind of like that. So I don't know what I'm missing. I think it's got a, whatchamacallit, I'll say boost control. It's not boost control. Whatchamacallit, you can set the speed on the highway and it'll hold it. Cruise control. It's got cruise control. Never tried it. You can see there's the new alternator. There's everything. But there you go. If you're interested, hit me up. Send me a message. It's a ZF6 6-speed car. V8. It's like 245, 250 horsepower. LT1 exhaust, maybe gives it a little more punch. And other than that, it's pretty stock. Pretty decent car. All right.